Why so?
Kol
Because
hakavod.
in your knowledge, the Kaf letter is one of the 6 Beged Kefir letters, and it's very possible that the Dagesh in the Kaf is a Dagesh Kal. But the rules of syllabication, if a Beged Kefir letter has a dot in it, it either begins the word or follows a consonant in the middle of the word, says the same thing as following the Shvanach. This Kaf is following not a Hey, it's following a Patach, and that's how you know it's a Dagesh Chazak. So you draw a line through that Kaf letter to tell the reader that you have a CVC syllable, and then you go on with the doubling of that Kaf letter. That's what Dagesh Chazak does. It doubles the letter which it's found in, and the Kaf begins the next syllable, where you have a C and you have a Kamatz under it. And the question is the kamatz a short kamatz, as we have in the word code, or is it the medial kamatz? And again, the medial kamatz is either accented or one place removed from the accent. If this were a short kamatz, the syllable is open. A short vowel and open syllable is irregular and therefore needs to be accented. So if I'm assuming it's a short kamatz, I put the accent there. But then what do I do with the last syllable, which has the vet letter, the honam, the dalet letter? It's CVC, it's a long vowel, it's a closed syllable. It definitely needs the accent. So the accent is probably over here, which it is, and the medial kamatz is either accented or one place, removed from the accent. And look at that word kavod. It has 3 letters in it, kaf, vet, dalet. All 3 letters are Beged Kefir letters. And look at the rules. A Dagesh is a Beged Kefir letter following a short vowel is Dagesh Chazak. If the Beged Kefir letter does not follow a short vowel, it doesn't follow a consonant, but it's following a vowel, then it's going to be open. It's not going to have close unless that's going to close the Kamatz there. And the same thing is true of the Dalet. Notice the dalet doesn't have a dagesh kal in it, because it's following a vowel. And that's the way you do this thing. Kol hakavod. And the word kavod, the kav bet dalet, basically is the same word as kaved. Kaved is the Hebrew word heavy. Kaved is the word heavy. Kavod is the word honor. And the question now is asked, what is the kesher, what is the relationship between honor and heavy? That's one of the thoughts I hope I impress you with this semester. Hebrew roots will have all kinds of extended words from it. And the words themselves look so different in English, but if you begin to analyze class, there's some kind of connection. My question now is, what is the connection between something heavy and a thing called something honor? Called like honor the commandments, honor your parents. And I guess the whole idea is that honor is not something that's light. To be honored and to receive honor, to get honor, is a heavy duty obligation. And maybe that's the connection between heaviness and honor. Probably that's exactly what goes on here. That's how you begin to analyze. And then the word chored that we had the other day. In the case of Yirmiyahu, you were chored, masculine singular. And then we had cholah, feminine singular. Cholah. And then the cholim, the cholot will be the plural. And in this classroom, the other day, 3 of the students, 50% of the class, was cholet, was sick. Eli, I understand, is not well. Yirmiyahu wasn't well, still is trying to get over his cold. And Adi, by the way, I received emails from him. He's concerned about class, he's not well either. So in the case of a male student, it's cholet. In the case of a female, it's cholah. In the case of a plural, it's masculine plural, cholim, feminine plural, cholot. As I made an error on the board, not even realizing it. You see what I'm now teaching? Whenever you write something out, why don't you repeat it orally and look at what you write, and you'll see there's an error I just made. Olim is masculine plural, and cholot will be the feminine. And then the other day, Yirmiyahu, something that you weren't here for, we had the word, the so-called po'al. Po'al is the Hebrew word for verb, po'al. We identified different families of verbs by asking what is the peh po'al, first root letter, the ayin po'al, the second root letter, the lamed po'al, the third root letter. And then I gave the word to the plural. I just simply said po'alim. What I said, I wrote on a board like this, po'alim, not realizing I misspelled the word completely, absolutely completely. But I always say po'alim. But I happen to be wrong in saying po'alim. And that's when I checked with a dictionary. Well, to begin with, if I said the word po'alim, how would I recognize the signification? The first syllable is CV, the meaning of you already were told many times. Immediate cholam, when it occurs the word, should be accented. So is the accent on the first syllable, pol, the second syllable as a chatapata, which will mean it'll be C-I-N, and then CVC is the second syllable, C-I-N, C-V, the long carriage to the C. If that is so, the long carriage of the whole syllable needs to be accented. How is it possible to have two syllables and the first syllable and the last syllable both are accented? What's going on here? And that's how I realized an error was made by me. I always say po'alim, po'alim, po'alim. And I'm typically Israeli by doing that. Israelis will say po'alim, but they are misspelling or missaying that word. I then double checked the dictionary. I then found out something I should have known. And that is the word po'al is nothing more than a segolate noun. Segolate, segolate. And Yirmiyahu's got to look at that word and say, where is the segol in the singular to indicate it's a segolate noun? And that's where you go back to the segolate nouns. We gave you them as two segols. We cited the word, two segols. Oh, the word, what word? I've given all kinds of words right now. Yelling, I guess, is a good word. Yelling. We cited the word as oeh, as the word boker. And then we have an Tzere with a segol, the word sefer. And we said that the plural of the segolate nouns has this combination, a shvam, a kamatz, and yud men. So yelad will be yeladim, boker will be bikarim, sefer will be sifarim, and then if you have laryngeal letters, the laryngeal letter would affect the segol before it or even after it, such as the word sema. Notice the laryngeal letters at the end, so the segol before was a patah. And then you have a word like na'ar. Na'ar has that laryngeal letter right at the start of the last syllable. It affects the segol before, the segol after. And both these words are tzimachim ne'arim. Along comes the word po'al. And po'al is no different than the word boker. In other words, if that ayin wasn't there, the word would have been po'er. But since the ayin is there, the segol has now shifted to a nas sound. So po'al, like boker, the plural will be pi'arim. Pi'alim. Po'al, am I saying it right? Pi'alim, yeah. Po'al, pi'alim. This is the plural in the word verbs. Pi'alim. Not po'alim, but pi'alim, like boker, bikarim. It's a segment now. That's the knowledge that you get from this classroom, which most people don't know. And that's why that word is so mispronounced, including your teacher on Tuesday. Now I re-corrected myself, and I depended on looking at the source of the dictionary and sure enough, the dictionary had the word Kefali. And then you have another problem, and I'm doing this for the review for Yirmiyahu. We saw the word dugma. As we were doing the exercises, we have that word dugma for an exercise. Most Israelis, including your teacher, will write the word dugma the following way. Watch how we're writing it without vowels. Oh, I'm skipping this. The word dugma. So like this, that's how you write it. The dollar letter is like this. It's then followed, looks like a shuruk, and the shva seems to be underneath the gimel, and an asham seems to be associated with the ring. If I was to vocalize that word, this is the way it would look. And now with vocalization, this is where you come in. You see the word do. You look at the dollar as a dagesh kal. Every careful letter beginning a word would always be posted. It has a long vowel, the way I wrote it on the board. And then you say to yourself, a long vowel is normally an open syllable, and that's what you should assume it to be. In other words, when you see a long vowel, the shva underneath the letter following a long vowel should be a shvana. I should read the word as dugima, dugima. And no Israeli says dugima. They say dugma, which they don't imply that maybe that long vowel is for the purpose of a vocalized Hebrew. When you vocalize the Hebrew, you have a short kubus underneath the valid. You have a dagesh hazak underneath the gimel. That's what gets you the phrase dug. And then all of a sudden you have the ma business. And what I said about the words ending with a kamas aleph, that is a sign of Aramaic. It's not a Hebrew word. Words ending with kamas aleph, if they're nouns or substantives, there's a good possibility that the word is borrowed into language, and looks like Hebrew today. So any word that you see with a kamas aleph at the end, chances are it's going to be an Aramaic word. Not all the time, but probably would be. So maybe that's how you should write the word. And so what I did was I checked the dictionary. And the dictionary actually had the spelling of the word dugma spelled like this, with a kamatse. And the minute you spell it with a kamatse and not with a kamas aleph, this is Hebraicizing that word. The kamatse is a Hebrew ending. The kamas aleph is an Aramaic ending. And so it goes. And even if the word is spelled with a dalet vav, as I originally spelled it, and the Israelis will spell it that way, they'll have that oo sound spelled with a vav. And it would say dugma. The reason why you can get away with it is because the word is not Hebrew to begin with. If it's not a Hebrew word, then all rules of Hebrew grammar are suspended. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem of a long vowel being closed so it appears, and therefore accented.
So that's dogma. In English, it's kind of like dogma, like a belief.
Well, that's very good and interesting point. Yeah, in English has the word dogma. Dogma is not the same as dogma unless you want to stretch it. A dogma is an example to follow. A dogma is an authoritative theological example that's basically binding. So you might see a connection there. Very good observation. When languages sound the same, somehow there's some kind of connection you might think, yes and no. I'm, for example, among my activities as an academic scholar, I'm the only Jewish member of the editorial board called Old Testament Abstracts. It is a classical journal for scholars where the contributors write abstracts of major articles, and they've assigned to me 4 or 5 journals to review. I was reading last night at 12 o'clock midnight an article about King David's first reigning city, a city that he reigned over before he reigned over all of Israel type of thing. In any case, in this particular city, overlooking the lowlands of Shephelah, you basically have different cultures that mix together. You had the Philistine, you had the Canaanites, you had the Israelites, the Judaites, the Judas, whatever. And with the mixing of these cultures, all kinds of things got mixed together, including their potsherds, including their swords, whatever, and therefore showing a type of integration that takes place. And once you have something like that, of Canaanite culture, Philistine culture, Israelite culture, add another culture here and there, including the Amalekites. They're also mentioned in this particular section, doing an abstract form. That explains why Hebrew itself, the language itself, may not be completely Hebrew. It has borrowed phrases from cultures it mixed into. How much more so Aramaic? And Aramaic is so crucial because the Aramaic background is the background of Rabbinic Judaism, sometimes called 2nd century Judaism. It's also a background of early Christianity. How many Christians even think about Aramaic? And that's why in the Christian community, when I began to learn Syriac at UCLA graduate school, a lot of the words hit me because they sounded Aramaic to me. We have a thing called Jewish Aramaic, Christians have a thing called Christian Aramaic, and the rest of the world doesn't even know what we're talking about. And the Syrians, if you ever see, there's a church or two on here that possibly also has it, where their language of prayer is in Syriac. And you say, well, nobody understands that. So what? This is the original language. And the famous last words of Jesus on the cross, itself was first developed in Hebrew. The Hebrew part of the Talmud, which is very small, and the rest of it is very large, a commentary on the Hebrew part of the Talmud, is known as the Mishnah. The Mishnah. Mishnah or Mishnah. There are two pronunciations. Mishnah is one way of saying it, or Mishnah is another way of saying it. This is the Hebrew part of what's called the Talmud. Let's get down that word Talmud. Talmud, if you look very carefully, has a language, there's a methodology to it. So once you have words which have only 3 letters, chances are it deals with teaching, it deals with learning, it deals with studying, that type of thing. The Talmud is studying, the Torah, being studied, you might say. It's a Hebrew word, Talmud. But the Talmud has 2 divisions, the Mishnah or the Mishnah. And if you look at the word Mishnah, I told you many times, if a word has more than 3 letters to it, then the heart of the verb, or the heart of the word, is probably not the first letter nor the last letter, but the middle letters. So what you have as middle letters here is the Shin, the Nun, and the Hey. And any word that has those 3 letters deals with change. And so you have the word Shana, to give an example. Shana is a year. And what happens when a year comes in and a year goes out? It's a new period of time. Change occurs. That same word, Shin Nun Hey, can be found, I guess, with the word Lashano, to change something. If I want to change something, I name it Shanet. I am changing it. And the verb itself is a Lamed Hey verb. Watch what I'm doing now. It's a Lamed Hey verb, and a Lamed Hey verb conjugated in a binyan we haven't seen yet called a Piel. And a Piel is intensive action. So when I change something, I'm not just doing it simply, I'm changing it. It's a different form now. That's where the intensity comes in. Also, when you repeat something again and again and again, you're doing a lot of intensive action. So the Mishnah gets its, the Mishnah, now here's how I'm saying it, that's the Yiddish way of saying it, the Mishnah. And when I'm doing a Mishnah, which is more Hebrew way of saying it, I am changing something. And Yirmiyahu is now very curious. What are you changing? I'm taking a sentence of the Torah and I'm commenting on it. And when I comment on it, it's called the Torah Shabbat Peh, the teaching, oral teaching. And the minute you get involved in oral teaching, you're changing something. Whether you guys know it or not, you have been changed by this classroom. You have literally learned something new, and by learning something new, I've changed your whole worldview. You literally all have been changed. You're confused. And when you wake up from your confusion, this rabbi over that rabbi, they leave all the verdicts there. Occasionally you'll have the opinion lies with. Otherwise you'll have the different opinions side by side with no decision being made. You know what that says to me today? It says different opinions are all valid. The top letter in Sephardic Hebrew is either a T7 or Sephardic Hebrew. If the top letter has a dot in it, if the top letter doesn't have a dot in it, it's a T sound. Among Ashkenazim, if the top letter has a dot in it, it's a T sound. If it's not a dot, without a dot, it's an S sound. So, for example, if I say the word Torah, no problem. If I say Toras, watch what I said, Toras. Toras Moshe, the Torah of Moses. I'm giving you Ashkenazic Hebrew. Toras Moshe. That's Ashkenazic. Toras Moshe. Sephardim go, what are you saying? It's Torah Moshe. That's Sephardic Hebrew. That's Israeli standard Hebrew today. The Ashkenazim Toras. The Sephardim Torah. Moshe. It so happens that the word Moshe is properly spelled as I have it on the board, Mida Cholam, what do we accent it? So the Sephardim screw up the word Moshe. It's not Moshe, it's Moshe. It's Moshe. And if you speak some Arabic, you probably could say Moshe rather than Moshe. Which way are you going to go? So every way goes all right. Just Torah.
Tav without a tav.
Toras, not Torah, but Torah.
Aramaic.
Torah.
So TH in Aramaic.
Yeah, that's right. And the Yemenite Jews, they go around with that Torah.
Is that if the tav has a dot or without a dot or just
Without the dot. It's not just the top letters, the other letters are also a little different. The Temanim, their Hebrew is very, it's awkward. It's not awkward. It's ancient. And the Samaritim, the Shomranim, the Samaritans, they also have their ancient pronunciation. So any language goes through different developments, etc. But the interesting thing is the word Talmud looks Hebrew, but it consists of a small Hebrew section called the Mishnah or Mishnah, and then a larger section on that particular Mishnah, which is called the Gemara, which is strictly Arabic. And there's some basic prayers. Perhaps the most famous of the basic prayers is the prayer known as the Kaddish, which is said on different occasions, and the Kaddish for mourners. Yitkadav Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. That Shemei Rabbah gives it away. Shemei Rabbah. Watch what I'm writing. Words which are recited by a mourner during times of mourning, words which are recited during synagogue prayers, all kinds of situations. Shemei Rabbah. Shemei Rabbah. Shmei is Aramaic. Rabbah, that comes from Aramaic. Shmei in Hebrew is shame. Rabbah is the word Rav. His great name, referring to Hashem. So the Aramaic prayer is the Kaddish. How is it in Kaddish is in Aramaic? because that was the language of the people of the day when the Kaddish prayer probably originated. It hasn't changed. In Orthodox synagogues, you have a number of prayers which are in Aramaic. The Yom Kippur prayer, for example, which is on Sabbath and holidays. Oh, there's so many examples of this. As far as your biblical books are concerned, there's a book called Daniel that has chapters in Aramaic. We have also 2 words in the Hebrew Torah, which have Aramaic words, not Hebrew words. So it depends upon the age in which the words come from. Okay, we
You do some new
basically are
teaching.
in unit number 2. We started some of the exercises already. We are on page 63, 64, 65 we already did. And I think we did that. Okay, where we left off, I'm not quite sure. Did we do the verb ochel, to eat?
I think we were at 64.
64.
65, right.
All right, page 65, okay, I'm looking at page 65. I'm not sure if we did everything right.
I think we were just halfway through. Like 3B, I6, maybe.
Okay, I got you. Okay, yeah, the bottom page 64. So, Uriel, what we did is we covered all this material already. We went into the Pei Paul, the Ida Paul, the original letters. That word lalechet, the verb to go, we went into the Lamed letter and its different pointings. I'll try to repeat that again as we see some new verbs right now. All right, on page 65 on top, Uriel will not be able to read today, nor would, well, Hillel will work with you a little bit. So my 2 main readers will be Baruch and Hannah. But I'm looking at page 65 on top. The verb is the same verb to walk or to go. So ron holech la concert. And again, I read it as la concert. And then I paused. I looked at the English, and I'm going to correct my word. It's not going to be la concert.
Yeah.
It's going to be le concert. You, meanwhile, were sitting in the classroom and hearing a lesson I did just the other day. Why are you changing the word from la concert to le concert? It's not the Hebrew that's telling me which way to go. It's the English. As my eye looks at the English, I notice that Rowan is the subject. The present tense is going. It's a continual verb that's being used. And then going where? To a concert. So concert is an indirect object. And I notice that there is the indefinite article, that letter, and that word a. Now, Hebrew is another language. Hebrew does not have a present tense. Second observation, Hebrew does not have an indefinite article. So Hebrew only has ron, what appears to be the verb going, and then a word called to concert, or is it to the concert? Or is it to a concert? See where Hebrew can be confusing? The English is guiding me right now. So if that is so, ron is masculine singular, holech is the so-called present tense masculine singular. So that's why we have holech and not holechet or holachim or holachot. But it's the concert that is the word that's going to bother me right now. To begin with the word concert, I look at that word, I see how it is spelled. I say to myself, don't bother with the spelling. It is a borrowed word, concert in English, concert in Hebrew. And so I write out the word as I see it. I have my proof letter, I have the vav, I have the noun, and so I double check it. I double check the spelling. I have a sadi, where you have in English the letter C. I double check with my eyeglasses on and now off. And if I have to vocalize it, I go something like this. I look at that word and I have what appears to be a first syllable that's irregular, a long vowel, followed by a letter which has a shva under it. Synonym is a shvanach. I say it that word because I say concert. I don't say co-nitsert. I say kon, kon, kon. If that is so, ladies and gentlemen, again, long vowel, closed syllable should be accented. I should say the word concert. If I'm saying concert, I'm hitting the last syllable. I'm not hitting the first syllable. And the last syllable is a constant sadi. The segol is a short vowel, followed by the resh, shva underneath that. So it's CVC, right? Short vowel, close, not a problem. But then I have the letter tet. How would you syllabicate the last syllable? You'll write it as CVCC. And until this moment, we have not seen a syllable called CVCC. You've seen syllables of CV, CVC, CINCV, CINCVC, and the fifth syllable is now finally revealing itself, CVCC. Imagine the third session for the end of the semester, the Garber now is able to give you a syllable that is CVCC. But what about this business? The long vowel is closed, should be accented. Or maybe the word concert should be written, I guess, like this, with a media cholam. So what? Write it with a media cholam. A media cholam, when it occurs in the word, we say should be accented. But I'm not saying concert, or maybe I should say it instead of concert. Concert. On the other hand, the answer of the whole problem is that the word Noel is not Hebrew at all. It's borrowed. Get it? When a book of Psalms is written according to those who are religious, it was written by choir masters, David himself was a composer, whatever. But the word concert, does that word occur in the book of Psalms? If there's any book in Hebrew Bible that should have the word concert, should be Selim, there's not found there. The word is international. And once you have a word borrowed into language, forget about Hebrew grammar. Out of curiosity, I'm going to double check how Mr. Dictionary here spells the word concert. I'm almost sure it's spelled with a vav, and the problems I just raised would therefore follow. But maybe not. I can't imagine how else it will be spelled. I'm going to look at the word. I don't think I'm going to find it that easily, if it's even going to be found here, but let's just take a look. I'm going to double check how I wrote it on the board. I see what I did there, okay. And now I'm going to double see what I have here, just for curiosity for myself and for you as well. Okay, I got the Kuf letter. Nope. I'm looking very carefully, and the dictionary does not have concert. Added to words. The bet letter has multiple meanings. It means in, it means on, it means with. The lamed letter means to, T-O. It means of, O-F. It means for, F-O-R. The kaf letter by itself is the word like or as. We don't need to know anything more, just the feeling that these are three prefixes added to words, and they represent independent words in English. So the lamed letter, representing the bakals, the lamed letter is normally pointed with a shvana under it. You add the lamed to the word that follows. It's never written by itself. If the word that follows has shvana under it, first letter, then the lamed will be pointed with a chirit to break the shva cluster. If the word that follows is a laryngeal letter, the aleph, the ayin, the hey, the chet, which has a tendency of having a chataf, whether it's a chataf patach or chataf segol, or whether it is a chataf kamatz. The lamed letter will be pointed by the sound of the chataf. We'll have either a pata, a segol, or kamatz under it. You follow me? The normal pointer is shvanah. When it's affixed to a word that has a chataf under it, there's a shva cluster. And what the lamed letter does, it takes over the sound of that particular chataf. And a good example is the word emet. Notice how the word emet, the word for truth, is spelled. Under the aleph is a chataf segol. The word emet is not a seglet noun. It's not emet, two segols. It is one chataf segol and the other one is a segol, emet. I want to say truly, bemet, really. I add my bakal letter, in this case it's a bet letter. There's a shva cluster, the shvana of the bet, the chataf segol. The bet will take over the sound of the chataf. Be'emet. That is a phrase used commonly by Israelis. When something occurs, be'emet, zekara, be'emet, really, be'emet. They don't say be'emet, it's be'emet. If you know your vocalization. And then finally, there's another rule with the bakal letters. We'll go back to Lamed now. If the bakal letter is affixed to a word that has the definite article. So, for example, I want to say the marketplace. Marketplace in Hebrew is shuk. It's a good word to know. It's monosyllabic, CPC. A shuk is a marketplace. I want to say the marketplace. I have my hey letter, normally pointed with a pata. Nagesh chazak goes in the next letter, hashuk. I want to say I'm going to the marketplace. The lamed comes along. You don't say le hashuk. The lamed will strike out the hey and take over its vowel. Lashuk. Ani holech lashuk. I am going. Ani holech lashuk. I don't say ani holech lehashuk. And that's where the problem is with that first example. Without the vowels, do I know how to read it as lit concert? Concert. Lot concert would be concert, definite article, hot concert, strike out the A, la concert. The English line speaker says to a, so it's lit concert, not la concert, to a concert. I hope you understand what I'm doing. Without vowels, that last word could be read as lit concert or la concert. The vowels will give it away if they're written in, or the English translation would also help. Okay, read that word as lit concert. This is part of the films right now. What Hannah is going to do is read the sentences that you now see, and that's what we do. Go ahead, Hannah.
Don ochel b'cafeteria. Yes?
No.
The,
No, you're going back to the word, you're going back to Ron Holech concert.
רון הולך לקונצרט.
Continue.
אנחנו הולכים לקונצרט.
Okay. Is everybody with her? אנחנו הולכים לקונצרט. Continue.
דליה הולכת לקונצרט.
Okay, notice what Edna does. She puts after the word Talia the letter Nun. Doesn't have to do that, but this is her style. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. That Nun in Sobrayim, in brackets, is a sign of the gender, Nikeva. But even if she did not do that, the verb would give it away. Holechet, that's what you're reading here, is the feminine singular. Look at the chart on page 64, the conjugation there. Okay, so the word, and then furthermore, Dalia itself, I guess, has that kamatse ending. So if you want to be fancy schmancy about it, you could say words that end with a kamatse is a sign of the feminine gender. But Dalia is a proper name. Dalia holecha lekoncert. Tamshichi geveret.
אני הולכת לקונצרט.
Okay, I am going to a concert. In the case of ani, you have holechet. But the word ani by itself can also be ani holech lekoncert. If this were English translation, the word ani is both male and female. The word anachnu, we, is both male and female. That goes back to unit number 1. All right, Baruch Tamshir.
Okay, so where do I begin with?
You continue where she left off. Yossi.
Yossi, Veredon, Dani, Eitan.
No, don't read everything. Just go Yossi Veron, and that's your new subject, and then go back to go into the concert.
Oh, okay. Yossi Veron, Holech, le concert.
Okay, each one of you, if there's going to be an error said, we'll correct it. Yossi Veron, is that singular or plural?
It's plural, Yossi and Ron.
Okay, so then Holech, is that singular or plural?
I'm not sure. It should be Holochim
That's better. Yes.
because it's masculine and it's plural masculine ending with I am.
That's right. It's masculine, plural. Yossi is male, Veron is masculine. And so if you have two men, you might say, or two fellows, whatever. But even if this were Dalia and Rowan, the fact that you have one male component to the subject will make the verb itself a masculine verb. Okay, Yossi Rowan Holachim concert, continue.
Okay, Yossi Veron Holachim le consort, and then Yossi Veron Anochim Halochim le concert.
No, you did it already. The next one.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Dina.
Look very carefully. Does it say Dina?
After Yossi, Dani.
That's better. There's a
Da.
difference between Dani and Dina.
Oh, yeah. It's
Dani, I presume, is Zachar, and Dina is clear to be Nekeva.
Right. Okay, Dani Holek le concert.
Okay, stop it right there. Notice the word Dani. Do you all have eyes that can see? There's a dagesh in that dalet.
Da doubles the sound. Dani.
No, 1 second. The dagesh in that dalet is meant to be what? The dagesh kal, right? The bigger careful letter, as I'm choking here, is the first letter of the word has a plosive sound to it. Dani. I have no problem with that dagesh in that dalet. She's absolutely, what she's doing is she's vocalizing the names. So she's going to vocalize and do it completely. It's a bigger careful letter, put a dagesh kal. But look at the line above with the name Dalia. Does Dalia have a dagesh in that dalet? I don't see a dagesh in that dalet in Dalia. Does Dani have a dagesh in the dalet?
Yes.
Yes. Question: how come with Dalia the dagesh kal is missing, and with Dani the dagesh kal is present? Is somebody making some kind of statement here? The Dalias don't have a dagesh kal? The masculine Dani does? Is that dot in that letter a sign of a male gender? I'm trying to make a joke. You guys are so serious, you don't know what's happening to you right now. I don't know why Dalia is lacking the dot. As long as you're going to put a dot in these mega capital letters and put the dot with Dalia as well. But I'll tell you seriously the problem. If I am right, the vocalization of Edna's books back in the 1980s were done by graduate school students who don't have that conviction of putting a dot here, putting a dot there, so they leave it in, they don't leave it in, whatever. If I had you doing my vocalization, you better believe you'd be consistent with that dagesh. Anyway, Dani is the masculine, and so Dani Holeh. Continue, Baruch.
Okay. Eitan.
Well, read carefully, look at it again.
Otan means they, right?
Yes, no, it's not they. It's first of all, it's aten.
Aten.
You all, like multiple you.
Oh, Aten. Oh, okay. Aten halochim lekonsert.
All right, stop it right there. Is aten masculine or feminine?
Oh, feminine. Oh, okay. Okay, so Aten halachot lekonsorot.
All right, you got it this time. Aten holachot. Aten is a feminine word, U-Y-O-U, the feminine plural. So it's feminine plural, so it cannot be holachim. The agreement has to be feminine, so holachot. Okay, and finally, one more, Baruch. Let's get it
Okay.
right the first time.
Rud vedalia
That's it.
halachot lekonsorot.
Okay. Okay, when you
Halachot?
say holachot.
Holachot.
Holachot makosar. At least you got the proper form. It's just playing upon the sound of the holachot. Okay, Ruth Vidaya holachot. And again, with the word Dahlia, she has a vav with a shvana under it. She has a dalit with a patach under it. She doesn't bother with the shvanach underneath the lamed, nor the kamatz underneath the yud in the case of Dahlia. But all right, that's the inconsistency here. All right, the next exercise, and Lavana is going to lead us with that one.
Okay.
Go ahead, continue. Anachnu?
Sorry, oh yeah, אנחנו הולכים לעבודה.
Okay, stop it right there.
לעבודה.
Anachnu holachim. Are you saying le'avoda or la'avoda?
לעבודה.
La'avoda. All right, just 1 minute, young lady. You're not going to get away that easily. Is the la'avoda underneath the lamed? How would you put it? Would you put a patach there, a kamatz there, a chata patach?
I'm really bad at what they're called, but this is do. Right?
Oh, let's understand what you're doing. And
I'm so bad at the names.
are you going to put a patach? Are you going to put a kamatz? Are you going to put a shvana? Le'avoda? What do you think? If the professor has given you the vocalization of the word avodah, notice how avodah is spelled. A chata patach underneath the ayin. The lamed's normal point is with a shvana, and right away you got to say to yourself, there's a shva cluster involving the shvana of the lamed and the chata patach of the original ayin. What happens when you break the shva, the cluster?
It goes to
Don't you take on the second one, like the?
it goes to a dot, single dot. The front one becomes like a single dot.
It goes to a dot.
Whatever that's called, I forget.
Why we'll put a
A
dot
dot?
in the ayin?
On the first letter, the second one is canceled. The first one, or the first one, on the lamed becomes a dot. What's it called? Hirik?
Comes a dot?
Hirik? What's the dot? The E.
E? No. Why would it be E?
Doesn't make sense to me. Chana, what would you say? What's it?
לעבודה for a what? לעבודה for the.
She's got it down.
Wait, what'd you say?
She's saying if it means to a indefinite article, then it's a pata. If it is to the hay originally is there, havoda, and strike out the hay, it would be a kamatz. Okay.
So this one would be le'avodah, because it's two words.
Not le, no shvana, it
Oh,
would be
it's-
la avoda.
Okay, so going to the place, to the is la.
Well, if I want to say to, wait a minute, the word avodah is work, first of all. If it says to the work, then the pointer should be la avodah with a kamatz.
Okay.
If it means to a work, then the lamed will have just a chata patach assimilated, la avodah. Okay, now let me go back to the hay letter. Again, all of this is intensive review. The hay letter is normally pointed with a patach underneath it. Next letter gets dagesh chazak. What if the next letter is laryngeal as well as the letter resh? Those 5 letters cannot be doubled. They cannot receive dagesh chazak. And so in front of those letters, the pointing is with a kamatz. How much more so if the letter is aleph, ayin, or resh? There is an exception. If the word begins with a hey lachet, according to some Israeli scholars, the hay will still maintain the patak sound, and if so, it is potentially closed. One of the rules I ask you to think about is this phenomenon of a short vowel, no dagesh chazak in the next letter, no shvanach underneath the next letter. We leave the short vowel in place, and the answer given is it's potentially closed. The chet letter and the hey letter are strong enough to assume there's a dagesh chazak in it, you might argue, and that's why the patak is left open that way. It's called skura bakor, closed by the power of the sound of the hey letter and the chet letter. Well, for your purposes, to be consistent, before those 5 letters, you have the hey pointed with a kamatz, not with a patak. But if you see it with a patak before a hey and a chet, the argument is closed by the power, skura bakor, potentially. Anyway, the word lavodah. Lavodah is clearly the word that I'm thinking about right now. You'll have to know how to spell that word in Hebrew, Zachatah Patah. And the lamed therefore cannot have a shvanah, or either have a patah, or if it means to the work is ha-avodah, or I'm writing it. The lamed comes along, strikes out the hay, and it's lavodah. I don't know what she has in mind. I look at the English and it says going to work. I presume going to work is the equivalent of saying to a work, not to the specific work. And if so, the la'avodah would be with a patach. If it is to the work, it will be with a kamatz underneath the lamed. But in spoken Hebrew, they both sound the same, so what's the big deal? We're playing with unvocalized Hebrew here. That's the big deal. All right, continue, Levana.
Okay. Ata holech
That's right.
la'avodah.
Now do the fill-ins.
Okay, at the bottom, not the bottom, but like the bottom of that section.
Yehuda, go ahead.
Okay. Yehuda holech la'avodah.
Stop it right there. She has Yehuda, the letter Zion in that particular bracket, which ought to tell you it's masculine. She had before that word Dahlia, was it? Yeah, she has Dahlia, and the exercise before the letter Nun to tell you it's feminine. The big question now is, why does she have to tell us the gender? Because she's assuming that Ze'ev Garber's rhetoric has affected all the students of this book. So therefore, the comment say feminine sound, therefore it should be a feminine word. But then what do you do with the word Yehuda? If you don't know, Yehuda is Judea, and Judea is Judah, and Judah sounds and is the masculine warrior of the Jewish nation type of thing, then how would you know that Yehuda and Yehuda come and say should not be feminine and therefore shouldn't be seen that way? That's why she put the Zion there for Yehuda. I don't know why with certain names she gives us the genders. With others, like the next name Rachel, she doesn't bother to do that. Except to say that Yehuda has a kamatzeh. So it looks like feminine. But then the next name Rachel looks very masculine. But Rachel is very feminine. Levana, any idea what Rachel is in English?
Rachel.
That's right. Rachel,
Rachel.
favorite wife there of Jacob. Rachel, mother of Joseph, mother of Benjamin. The matriarchs I discovered, and I always do that, and the patriarchs. 3 patriarchs, Yavot, Abraham Avinu, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Yes, Levana.
Oh, I said ve'imahot.
That's right. And the 4 mothers, the Imahots, but only 3 of them, Sarah, Rivka, and Leah, are buried in the same place with the patriarchs called Hebron. And Yirmiyahu, you should notice, Hebron is one of the 4 sacred cities. There's Jerusalem, there's Tzfat, there's Hebron,
Tiberius.
And there's Tiberius. I was waiting for someone to help me.
Rachel's buried in Hebron, right?
No, she's worried on the road to Bethlehem.
I'm building up,
No.
wait a minute, build up the suspense. Rachel is buried on the way to Bethlehem.
Oh, yeah.
And if I say Bethlehem, as far as Yirmiyahu is concerned, time to see. Time goes on in Jordan, goes on here, goes on there. It's just a wonderful read. It's for readers like you. And there's one article called The Small Village of Bethlehem, which the author strikes out that word. It's not a small village at all. Bethlehem was quite a large village, a very important village, but it's known particularly as the birthplaces of, or the childhood, you might say. Rachel.
Rachel holechet la'avodah.
Okay, notice that Yehuda is cholech and Rachel is cholechet. Continue Levana.
Atan holchot
That's right.
la'avodah.
And take one more.
Let's see.
Okay, this is a word we've seen already.
Hapakidim.
That's right.
Hapakidim holchot la'avodah. I
Okay,
mean holchim.
that's better. Okay, Hapakidim Cholachim Lavodah. Let me go over that word for a second. Since it's a new word, you might say, it's not really that new. I think I've seen this word already several times by her. The word in the singular is the word pakid. It's a good review of something I want to do right now. The word pakid. As you take a look at that word pakid, right away you notice there is a letter with a dot in it. You go over your 6 capital letters. If a begat kafat letter begins the word dagesh kal, that's what you happen to letter pay. And then the first issue is the vowel that you see here. The minute you see a vowel, you're supposed to stop. Say to yourself, is it a long, medium, or short? If it's a short vowel, close syllable. If it's a medium vowel, it can be open or closed. If it's a long vowel, it can be, the proper situation is a long vowel, open syllable. I see a kamatz. The kamatz in Hebrew are 3 positions. The long kamatz we can forget about. It's a long kolam. But the medium kamatz and the short kamatz both look the same. How can you tell the difference? If this were a short kamatz, it should be part of a closed syllable, unaccented. No shvanach underneath the kuf letter, no dagesh in the kuf letter. You conclude the syllable is open. Open syllable would therefore give you the authority to say it's a medium kamatz. But a medium kamatz should be either accented or one place removed. And you notice there are 2 syllables there. Second syllable is CVC, long chirik in a closed situation, and therefore it needs to be accented. Why so? Because long vowels are open syllables. If they're closed, they get accented. Now watch what I'm about to do. I take that word pakid, I make it plural. And as a result, I have 3 syllables. And that's the problem. The kamatz can exist one place removed from the accent, not 2 places removed. The accent now is on this particular chirik with the dollar. Watch what happens. The word pakid, the accent is closed, and the syllable is closed. In the case of this word, I have a C-I-N-C-V is the first syllable, C-I-N-C-V, and the second syllable is C-V-C. The kamatz reduced to a shvana, and the accent will now be on the last syllable, and the chirik following the kuf is now part of an open syllable. Pekidim is what you have. The word itself means inspector, one who, inspectors. Anyway, the meaning of that word and why the kamatz is not in the plural, you now have the explanation. The hey in front of the word is the definite article, hapekidim. And then the word hapekidim. Yeah, let me just talk about that word. If you take a look at the word pekidim, Watch the review right now. This is the word. C-I-N-C-V is the first syllable. C-I-N-C-V, second syllable, C-V-C. I'm now adding the definite article, pata. The dagesh now in the pay is not a dagesh kal, it's now a dagesh kazak. Get it? The Becker Kefir letter is no longer the first letter, it's now following a vowel. If the vowel is short, then the dot is a strong dot. Hapikidim. That's how you should say it. Hap goes to the first syllable, and pikidim starts the second. Just get used to that. Hapikidim. Hapikidim. But people just simply say hapikidim. Okay, Levana, I think you did well with the examples you gave. All right, Hillel, do you want to pick up with the word the doctor?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, young man. Harofe.
Rofe.
Goes to work.
Holen. Lavodi. Lavoda.
Well, how do you say the word goes?
Goes. Anachnu? No, I'm sorry.
Your subject is harofe. Do you say holechet? Do you say holech? Do you say holachim?
Hole.
That's it, holech. I know you're doing a lot from memory. Just try to look at the chart. Harofe is the doctor, holech lavodah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if this were a class I'm giving exams every day, then I would probably have you vocalize that word harofe. Watch the rules now. The word rofe is a doctor. I want to say the doctor. The A is normally pointing with a pata, except the Resh letter. The Resh letter cannot be doubled. So before the laryngeal letters and the letter Resh, we increase the pata to a kamatz. Harofe spelled with a kamatz, not with a pata. The doctor, medical doctor. Hillel, continue.
Okay. Where are we?
This is the subject pronoun he.
It's he?
I unless you have the chart in front of you, it's gonna be hard.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused.
All right, Levana, help him.
Well, it's 3BI6. Do you, is that what you're, you don't know? what
Yeah,
you're-
that's what I'm hoping, yeah.
Hey Vav Aleph.
And then, on the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth line, the last one on the left,
On the
with the
left.
hey.
The very last one.
Yeah, it has 3
Oh.
letters.
Hey Vav
The
Aleph.
one with the dot next to it?
Yeah, it's who, which is, he.
Okay, so it's who,
That's it, who?
Hole,
That's right.
Hole,
Is with at the end.
Lohech,
Holech.
Holech,
No, he's got it down.
Holech, Leavla?
Lavoda, yes, I don't know why the hesitation. It's the same phrase as lavoda, lavoda. Okay, who is the third person subject pronoun he? You're not finished yet, you know. Continue with the next one,
Next one.
which is the next line now.
Oh, the next time, yeah, okay.
It's probably my cell phone, don't worry about it.
Sorry, a little lost on this one, actually.
But your subject pronouns are who, and he is she.
So it's.
Hey, Yud Aleph is the word she.
So she.
All right, look at the page before, page 64.
Okay, oh. Is it 63?
No, 64. 64, you're looking now at page 65, and the page right opposite it, on the right side, is page 64. You have the verb holech conjugated.
Oh, there.
Okay, the time is really almost
Yeah,
up.
I'm sorry, I'm a little
Okay.
confused, yeah.
Yirmiyahu, are you able to say a few words?
The problem with this one, I'll tell you, is that it doesn't have the male and female and the singular and plural on it, so you have to figure that out with those charts.
I don't know what you're trying to say, but okay, Yirmiyahu can't speak right now. Hannah, listen to us finishing it up. Okay, Hannah, do the word he, what?
היא הולכת לעבודה.
Okay, let's stop right there. Again, the word he is third person feminine singular. The chart is holech, holechet, it's the feminine singular, so he holechet lavodah. All right, the next one, Hannah, continue.
אתם הולכים לעבודה.
Let me hear it again.
אתם הולכים לעבודה.
Atem holechim, and then finally Baruch.
הוא אוכל וחנה הולכות לעבודה.
So Zalael, very good. Notice the name Hannah. Notice how she spells it out. And then that dot in that nun is a clear sign of what you know as Dagesh Chazak. All right, people, it took us a long time to do this, but I did a lot of review with you. You come back after 20 minutes, and we try to do a few more pages. Yirmiyahu, are you doing okay? Okay, so just relax now. I have a next verb that we have here, which is the verb ochel. Yeah, I'm looking at page 65, the middle of the page. And again, let me go over some of the reviews with you. What we're dealing with is the so-called present tense. I call it the so-called because Hebrew legitimately does not have what is the equivalent in the European languages as a present tense. So for our purposes, we'll call it the so-called present tense. And we've used the example of the flaming verb, which we basically have followed so far. The shleimi will be a verb that does not have any of the original letters in the pei ayin lamed position. And basically, the three letters that it does have remain in place, conjugating the verb in the past, the future, the infinitive, the commanding form, etc. So the example I would cite is the word shomer, or the word lomein, and then you have the vocalization shomer, shomeret, shomer, and shomrot. So far we've seen olech, which follows the same conjugation as shomer. Olech is holechet, holechim, and holechot. Where they differ is in the infinitive. So for example, the infinitive of a shleimi verb in the so-called binyan kal or the binyan pa'al, and there's a shma underneath the peah koal and a midah olam between the second and the third letters. That is the formula of the so-called infinitive of a binyan kal. The seven binyanim, we're focusing on the binyan known as the pa'al, based on the vocalization of the third person of the verb in the past tense, or otherwise called the basic one, so the kal, the easy or the light binyan. Anyway, as I take the word shin mem resh, the infinitive to watch is you add your lamed, you see a cluster right away. The peah koal has a shvana under it. The lamed is normal pointing is with a shvana. The cluster is broken by having the lamed pointed as a hirik, lishmor. And then, as I mentioned to you before, when it comes to the syllabication, you would have a C, V, C, the shvan, the shin, closing the hirik now underneath the lamed, and the CVC for the second syllable. Accent, less called for before, is always the last syllable of the word. Lishmor. And that hirik is really artificial. It's meant to break the shvan cluster. But for some reason, because it's so frequent, it's treated like a real hirik, rather than originally being a shvana. But look at the infinitive of lalachet. First of all, the verb itself is hey lamed chaf. That hey letter says it cannot be a shleimim. If a verb has one of the original letters, it's not treated as a shleimim verb. You treat it as the position of the original letter, the pei hapoel, pei hey verb. So the conjugation in the present tense, so-called, is regular. It's shleimim, holech, holechet, holchim, holchot. But look at the plural. The plural has lechet, first of all, and the lamed, and the hey of the verb is missing completely, and the lamed itself takes on the pointing of a kamatz, a lechet. And that's something I did not mention with the lamed review I did before the break. If the bakal lamed is affixed to a word where the accent is the first syllable, there's a tendency of pointing the bakal letter with a kamatz. Given lechet has two segos, short vowel is open syllable, is therefore accented. So the lamed, one place removed from the accent, is pointed with a kamatz, la lechet. But the question should be asked, what happens to the hey? Why did the hey drop out in the infinitive? I don't know. It's present in the past tense, it's present in the future, it's not present in the what's called the tzivui, the command form. But these are things you're going to study later in your studies. Just know the infinitive is la lechet. And now we have the verb. Is that the verb we're going to begin with? No, the verb now is lechol. Well, let me just double check. Yeah. Okay, the verb we're now dealing with is the verb to eat. So let me get that word now. The verb to eat. As the Vanna has just come in, she is a very good demonstrator when it comes to eat. Not that she eats in the classroom, but she makes sure that I know that part of her daily obligation is to eat.
Yes, as it's all of our obligations.
It's okay, it's okay, okay. Anyway, any word that has the aleph, the chet, the lamed, is related to the word to eat. So the word that comes to mind as a noun is ochel. Ochel. It's a word some of you know. Ochel.
Isn't that like
Like in
a
a hotel?
grave?
No, an hotel could be like the like an inn or something like that.
Like a name?
An inn, a place to stay. Oh hell.
I'll get to that. That's the word for tent. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Okay, the word ochel. Okay, I understand what you're saying. First of all, let me begin with it's an aleph, tav, lamed. Any word that has those three letters as the basics of that, as the basic of the word, the shoresh, has to deal with eating habits. So the word ochel, notice how I'm spelling it. The aleph has a media cholam attached to it. That's the word for food. Ochel. Ochel is food. F-O-O-D. Now, Israeli Hebrew does not like to write with vowels. Watch now the problem. If I get rid of those if I get rid of those two vowels, how would I know how to read the aleph tav lamed? I can read it as achal, which means he ate, past tense. I can read it as ochel, or the Israelis will put in a vav letter to make sure you have the O sound. And that word with a vav letter can be read as ochel, but it's not a real long cholam, it's a media cholam. It's a media cholam. Or if I spell it with a vav, what makes me not read the word as ochel, which is the present tense masculine singular. That's the problem here. You will have Israelis writing unvocalized Hebrew like this. Who, ochel, and then you have the word ochel. The word ochel for food and the word ochel, eats, are identical without the vowels. I put in the vowels, then maybe you can see there's Ochel, and this is Ochel, where this is originally is a Media Cholam. That's part of the problem. But the Israeli will tell you it's the sentence that will let you know what is the word food or what is the word to eat. He's eating. So when you have hu ochel without vowels, then I guess you assume the next word is going the same way as ochel with a vav there will be the word for food. But you have to be Israeli to be able to pick that up so quickly. Okay, now back to the word ohel. What you guys are saying, at least Baruch, what I think you're saying, is the word ohel. Not ochel, but ohel. Ohel, if you want to write it with a vav in there, is the Hebrew word for tent. T-E-N-T, a tent. Let me double check on all this. Notice, no matter how confident I am in spelling these words, I'm going to double check. And there's a reason why I'm double checking this through, just to make sure I get this thing straight. You spell that word with an olive, Mr. Garber? Let's take a look and see what you got there. I'm going to see if they spell the word ohel without the vav. So that's what I'm looking for. On the page lines. Getting there. I'm getting there.
Oh.
Yep. The word ohel is aleph with a media cholam, the hay with a segol, and the lamed. And let me show you the confusion in all this. The word properly spelled, I have it on the board. Ohel. Same spelling of the three letters, only now spelled with a kamatz and a pata. Achal. Achal is the verb, he set up a tent. I never use the word achal. I'm learning it for the first time. But don't you see the whole problem right now? When you write with vowels, you can get away with it. When you don't write with vowels, how would you know the aleph hey lamed is the word ohel, a tent, or the past tense, masculine singular, he set up a tent? You don't. That's why some people would say, if you really mean an ohel, a tent, put a vav in there. And if you don't have the vav, then it has to be read as a chal. It's not that simple. Let me see if he has any other spelling here for ohel. Let me see if he spells ohel without the vav. Nope, he has it without the vav. Like I thought. And then the plural of the word ohel is ohalim. Ohalim. Let's get it down. Ohel. O-ha-lim. Ohalim. Well, think of the word boker. Bikarim. Can I say that ohel is a segment now? If it were, then it should be ihalim. It says now, I think it's shvanah, it'd probably be ohalim. But it is ohalim. The cholam remains, and the word ohel, looks like the word boker is not treated as a segment now. How would you possibly tell that? You cannot. You see what I did? I didn't work from any memory at all. I looked at a dictionary. I see the word ohalim, that's the plural of the word tent. And ohel is not the same thing as ohal, with a chaf letter, not a hey letter. You know, Hebrew can be very tricky, particularly with the sounds of the letters And when you write without vowels, who knows which way you can go with this? Let's go back to the word ochel now. Ochel, ochelet, ochelim, ochlot. Looks like a shlemim verb. I'm not disputing that, but it's a pei aleph verb, and therefore the pei aleph is going to affect the infinitive. Why so? Because the infinitive, again, of a regular shlemim verb of the binyan known as the pa'al or the first binyan conjugational form has a formula of a shva. Or in a peyapol, the aleph cannot take a shva. And so the replacement is with Wadal Chatafim. In this case here, it's with a Chataf Sagol. Echol. The Lamed comes along. The Lamed has a shva cluster with the Chataf Sagol. The Lamed takes over the sound of the Chataf Sagol. Le'echol. 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 Is to eat. The infinitive. Le'echol. That's why you have to be careful. The present tense looks the same as shlemim. The infinitive can be affected by the original formulation. Okay, with that said, let's now do the exercise, and it should now fall into place. Let me read the three examples. Dan ochel, the cafeteria.
Page 65.
Watch what I just did. I am not doing this purposely. I am doing it automatically. I read the form.
I have.
Okay, and we'll see you next week.
עוד האפס, עוד מדבר שמורה בבינם דוברה, שבת שלום.
Okay, Dan Ochel cafeteria. I'm looking at the English. Dan eats at the cafeteria. I read it wrongly. I said big cafeteria, and it's in a cafeteria. My English is telling me, no, sir, read it as the cafeteria. Okay, so we're back to the definite article. Cafeteria is cafeteria. Hey with a patach under it, Takesh Hazak and a kuf is ha cafeteria, the cafeteria. The bed comes along, strikes out that hey, and it's ba cafeteria. A cafeteria, not big cafeteria. Bed, no, it's ba, so it says at the. So Dan Ochel ba cafeteria. I look at the next one, Rita eats at home. Or then you're going to say she eats at a home, or at home means at the home. I think when you say at home, you have in mind a specific home. So Rina Ochelet Bab Bayit, if that's what you mean. If it's not at the home, it will be Biv Bayit. And let's go over that for another review. The word is Bayit. Again, the three states are given here. State number one is the absolute, Bayit. State number two is a definite article, Habayit. State number three is the construct state, Beit, house of. So at the home, Habayit, the bed comes along, strikes out the hay, and becomes Babayit. If you want to say at home means at a home, then watch what I'm doing. You have the word bayit. The bed comes along, no pointing shvana. You have a problem now with the digation at bet. It drops out. Now that's following a half vowel. And the word will be bivayit. Bivayit. Accent is on that patak, short vowel with syllable. Has to be accented. I'm looking for something, I can't find it. Okay. That's basically it. So at home, you can read as Babayit, I think is better than Bidvayit. And then the third line, I'm looking at the English, at the cafe. So Hein, home clothes, and Veit cafe. Well, in this case here, the cafe is Beit cafe. Bob Beit cafe. Well, if you want to be really specific about it, it will be Beit cafe is cafe, the will be Hot Beit cafe, and then Bob Beit cafe. Bob Beit cafe. No, there's something wrong with this. Beit Cafe is a cafe. Beit HaCafe is at the cafe. Here, let me make a correction here. I'm not sure, I think the word for the cafe should be Beit HaCafe. She has a definite article. Well, let's just read what she has. Buffet Cafe. Just read it as Buffet Cafe, at a cafe. All right, the next page, that's where you're gonna take over. Baruch, why don't you start?
Okay, on page
66 on top.
page 66 on top. All right. Dan lo ochel bcafeteria.
Okay, the cafeteria, okay. Definitely this one here, I would like to have the word ba, because it says the cafeteria.
Ba.
Continue.
Okay. Dan lo ochel becafeteria. Is that correct? Continue.
Ba cafeteria, okay, read the next one, yes.
Okay. Rina lo ochelet bavet. Is that correct? Continue.
1 second now. Rina lo ochelet, you want to read it as ba bait? If you have the word bait, then it has to be house of, it has to be a word that complements that word bait. Since it doesn't have another word following the bet yotav, then the word can only be read as bayit.
Oh, okay. Bayit.
Oh, would you read it as bab bayit or biv bayit?
Yeah, one of those two. That's the way I had read it.
Or how did you read it?
Bevait.
Okay, so then the Rina doesn't eat at home, or at home bayit. Okay, continue.
אנחנו לא אוכלים בבנק.
Okay, if you're going to read it as be, then make sure that the letter bet of the word bank is a V sound, bevank. Bank
בבנק.
by itself has regesh kal. Bank now preceded by a bet with a shva under it will have to be bevank.
בבנק.
Otherwise you read it as bank, bank, the bank, and then bank at the bank. Continue.
הן לא אוכלות בנית קפה.
Cafe. Okay, so here you have a complete sentence. They do not eat at a cafe, buffet cafe. If this were at the cafe, then it would be buffet ha-cafe. Here, let me go over this one more time. It's a little difficult for me at first when I saw that big cafe business, sentence number 3 on page 65. Big cafe means at a cafe. She translates it at the cafe. I am not clear about that one. If it's a definite article, if it is a definite state at the cafe, it should be Beit HaCafe. And that's, and well, again, I don't know what to make of it. They do not eat at a cafe. Well, this one I can read as at a cafe, not at the cafe. If we're at the cafe, then we Beit HaCafe. All right, not a big issue for us at least. All right, the next three. Hello, you want to read for us?
Yes.
We're found on page 66, and you're reading the last three examples. It's on the fourth line down.
Fourth line. Oh.
The word is who.
Okay.
Who's they?
Who?
Who is he?
Yeah, okay.
Who is he is she?
Ivana Helga.
Which part? Sorry, which one?
Hello, do you have the place?
Yes, right here.
Okay, just read what you have. I don't know what you're looking at, but just read what you have.
What number are we on?
We're back beginning at the top, it's putting who in for Dan.
We're continuing where Baruch just left off.
So it's who? Who?
He doesn't eat.
Oh.
at
Go
the
who and go to
cafeteria.
the top of the page and begin where Dan was and substitute that for who. No, I'll show you right here.
Just tell them what to do.
I'll show you right here. It's confusing, but the repetition is okay. So I finished here. So now you're gonna replace this on 66,
This
You're
one?
gonna replace who, and you're gonna go here and replace for Dan and go along that way.
Oh, so it'd be who?
Yeah. Who instead of Dan, who, lo, like
Oh,
that.
okay.
That, it's confusing. I didn't realize that till recently.
Go ahead, who load, he does not. No, you're dealing with the verb to eat.
Oh, okay, so. What's the word again? I forgot. Who,
Go ahead, say it, who lo ochel
lo ochel
at the cafeteria.
cafeteria.
A cafeteria, all right, take the next one.
Is it ata?
Attend,
Attend lo. Oh my god, I just had it. Attend.
just look at the chart here, I don't expect you to get this right away. Look at what we just did just moments ago. On page 65, you have the four forms of the verb to eat. Ochel, ochelet, ochelim, and ochelot.
Attend. Ochelet.
That's right. Attend lo ochelot.
Attend lo ochelot. Cafeteria.
That's right. And finally, one more. Ani,
Ani. Ochelet.
I don't eat. Ani lo,
Ani lo. Lo. Ochelet.
ochel.
Ochel. Cafeteria.
Okay. Ani lo ochel cafeteria. Since ani can either be male or female, the rule of thumb is if it's meant to be female, she should put a nun right after the ani. Okay, Lavana, let's go on to the next one.
Can I use your book?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, 'cause mine is not loading. Where are we at? Rena?
666, 3B, I8, top of the
Rena
page.
Ochelet Bebait.
Go ahead.
You want me just to read the rest of it? Okay.
Yalla.
Who Ochelet Bebait?
Wait a minute. Who ochelet?
No, Ochel. Who Ochel Bebait?
Again, who?
Ochel
Okay, you're going too quickly.
Bebait.
Okay, just stop here for a moment. I'm looking at the English. Rena eats at home. I'm looking at Mrs. Coffin's word for at home. She writes habayit. All right, this explains what I was trying to say before. Your English does not seem to indicate the word at home as a definite article in front of it or indefinite. So if you read at home, meaning at a home, then the word is bayit. Just listen to me. And then you add your bets with a shvana. You have a shva situation followed by the next letter having a dagesh in it. That dagesh column now drops out, reads from plosive to continuant by the shvana that's added to the bet letter that's affixed to the word bayit. So we bivayit at home or at a home. But notice that Edna has the word at home in English and it has the Hebrew bayit, suggesting that at home implies a specific definite home, and that's why the bat, not the bed, is used. That's all I have to say. So at home now would always be with a definite article, bayit. Okay, go ahead, Lavana.
אנחנו אוכלים? Or is אוכלים? Or is it אוכלים?
You're using the word ochel, so anachnu
Is it אוכלים or is it אוכלים?
ochelim.
אוכלים. Bebait. And
Three.
אוכלות. Bebait.
Not ochelim bayit. Go ahead. The next word is hain.
Yes, I already did that one too.
Is hain masculine or feminine?
Feminine.
So then go ahead.
Okay, hein אוכלות.
That's right.
Bebait.
Continue.
Hatem, Ochalim Bavite.
Continue.
Rina Vechana Sofilot Bavite.
Very good. Continue.
He, Ochelet Bavite.
And finally,
Student team, Ochalim Bavite.
Turn the book. All right, one who reads very well, get yourself the next pages somehow when you're reading. God is here, so you're able to help out that way. All right, you read it correctly. What you have is the agreements in the subject, and therefore if the subject is singular, masculine singular will be a verb. If it's feminine, then you go the same way. What you have to do is have these charts in front of you.
That was
as you try to study this
3BIH,
stuff. Try to have
66.
this part of your ingrained knowledge, otherwise you'll be struggling every time you try to do an exercise of this nature. Okay, basically, the next thing I want to do, we have enough time for this, is to introduce you now to the next verb. Look at the Hebrew, it has binyan pa'al lamed hey. Look at the English, the pa'al conjugation. That word pa'al is again the name. It's taken from the third person masculine singular vocalization of a verb in Hebrew. And the conjugational pattern is the binyan pa'al. That's the basic one, otherwise known as the kal. And the verb is a lamed hey. The lamed hey verbs, which means that the third root letter of the shorish of the verb you're dealing with is a hey. And she gives you three examples that she cited in her vocabulary. One is ayin sin hey, which is a verb to do. The other is reish say hey, which is a verb to want. And the other is shin taf hey, which is the verb to drink. So let me now make something very clear right now. The verb rotzeh is a verb to want. I'm trying to think of the word to desire, hafetz. Yeah. All right, let me make it right now. The verb to want in Hebrew, the normal verb to want. I'm going to vocalize a lamed hey verb on the board. Does she vocalize that word? Yes, she does. Look at page 67. On page 67, you have the res sadiyeh. The masculine singular is rotzeh, rotzah, rotzim, rotzot. Well, Professor Zaid, did you not give us that the other day? She's giving us three lamed hey verbs: ayin sin hey, res sadiyeh, and shin taf hey. I gave you the verb the other day due to the stature of our students in this classroom of chet lamed hey, of being sick. What's the difference between the chet lamed hey and, well, there's a lot of, well, the ayin sin hey is a similar problem. This is a lot, all these verbs are lamed heys, but two of the verbs are hybrids. They're lamed heys and they're pei chet in the case of sick, and they're pei ayin in the case of to do. You've got to watch this with the original letters because they're going to affect the conjugation somehow. And now this word here, reish sadiyeh. Reish sadiyeh is to want something, but there's another verb in Hebrew, chet pei tzadi, where the present tense is chafetz. The present tense of reish sadiyeh is rotzeh. Ani rotzeh lishtot. I want to drink. The infinitive of a lamed hey is ot ending lishtot. The other verb, pay attention, ani chafetz lishtot. The difference, chafetz is strong desire. I need to drink. So let me finish. I can't wait. I need to drink. Please, take me seriously. I need to drink. אני חפץ לשתות. Never use the word xafetz. If you do, it's emergency. And in the classroom back when I was a child, to go to the bathroom, want to, I have to. I'm pissing already. Please let me go. So if you ever have a verb thrown at you, my dear Hillel, ani chafetz otcha, I want you. It's not just simply for some coffee in the cafe. Hillel, ani chafetz otcha. You either have your fist up, or run how to run, or spam that person out of existence. Why do you think Hillel, or rather Yirmiyahu, has his face with a mask? Something happened to my good friend Jeremiah. Who said chafetz to you the other day? You felt for it. You got kissed. Look at yourself. Watch that verb. Chafetz is strong desire.
Is that the same one as the Hafetz Haim?
Chafetz chaim, yeah.
That's the same word for that guy.
Yeah.
What is the other one? The strong
Chafetz
desire for
chaim
life.
is desire of life, yeah.
Oh, okay. Then one more question. The Resh Zadik Hey, like the Shin Tav Hey is to drink. The Resh Zadik Hey is to want, and the Aleph Shin Hey is to what?
Shin Tav Hey is the word to drink.
Yeah. And then what's Asa?
Where are you reading?
Oh, I'm looking at the ones that you went over on page 66. How you were breaking them down. So my question, I didn't write the Aleph Shin.
I said hey. That means to do.
Okay, thank
To
you.
do. All right, 1 second, people. Let me just pick up what he's doing right now. Before we go any further, what Baruch is looking at, she gave you 3 verbs. I gave you another verb because we use it in class, chet lamed hey. And if you want from these verbs themselves, any word that has the same root letters will be connected. So let me just, then we'll take the honest question. The ayin sin hey is to do. To do. To do. To make. There is an arrived noun, mas. Notice how I'm spelling it. Let's put it this way. The word maseh should be the spelling of it. That ayin has a shvanach under it. The word maseh is the word deed. D-E-E-D. If the showish as a verb means to do, then the derived noun is deed. What did you do? What deeds are you doing? That's the translation, a deed. Now, something for syllabication. I told you before, it's possible to have a patach before a chet letter and an ayin letter. Let me make sure I got my head straight. Where the patach does not get doubled by the letters that follow. No, it should be also a hey letter too. Anyway, whatever. When you have a patach before the original letter where it's not doubled, then you say it's potentially closed. In this case here, where you have a shvanach that turns into a shvanach, it's called secondary opening. Secondary opening, when a shvanach loses its closing ability and opens up to a sound. Given the ayin cannot take a shvanach, so hata pata comes in this place. The word is ma'aseh. Ma'aseh is a deed. A maisa, we say in Yiddish. A ma'aseh. So what you have here is the patach. Yeah, I'm right about that. The patach is not part of a closed syllable. Originally, it was part of a closed syllable, but secondary opening came in and out. That's it. It was closed and was part of a closed syllable, but people kept on saying maaseh, maaseh, maaseh. They opened up that shvanah to a shvanah, maaseh. So we write it as maaseh. We have the problem of the patach being part of an open syllable as it now appears, but we say it's potentially closed due to secondary opening. So the 2 terms are used together. potentially closed the way it looks now, because originally it was closed. What happened was secondary opening, where the original letters lose the shvana and open up to a shvana. So they don't take a shvana and so get replaced by one of the chatafim. A ma'as. That's the word noun I would associate with the word to do. And then the other word, the word shintavhe, shtiyah. Okay, from that word shintavhe, you get the word drinking, shtiyah. A shtiyah is a drink. Not that you need to know those words, but the word itself is shintav. The hay now is dropped out, you might say, the yud takes over, shtiyah. Or better, a mishneh. You don't know word mishneh.
Like Mishnah Torah?
Mishneh is a party.
Yeah, that's a good one. For brengen,
Oh, like a Farbrengen? Yeah.
How's that?
Baligan, Farbrengen, Ashkenaz.
Farbrengen.
Farbrengen,
Farbrengen.
Farbrengen, Baligan, Ashkenaz.
Yeah.
Why Balagan?
Okay,
That's what
Mishneh,
makes
okay.
sense.
One second, a Mishneh, some people would say Mishnah, which probably the word is Mishnah. Mishneh is a party, but I think Yirmiyahu would appreciate it. It's not just a party of eating. It has a shin tav hay to it, which implies that Jews back from the days of Esther and Purim and God knows when, before that, when you have a party, you make sure you have a drink. It's really is a drink.
It's a mitzvah.
But notice how you have to be careful. Don't overdrink.
Except on Purim.
No, ad shelo yada, until you don't know, not until you don't, not when you don't know.
But that just means to know the difference between right and wrong. It doesn't mean to get drunk.
People,
That's a
you
personal
don't
choice.
Enjoy drinking, then know that verb
But
to
drunk
drink.
enough to not
It's
know the
your
difference.
That was a midrash on it.
All right,
But like,
that's
depending on how you
it.
interpret it.
Ivana, you had a question.
So let's just say you don't want to use chafetz, but you really do want something, but not like I need it. Could you say like I need רוצה pizza be'emet?
Be'emet means truly, okay.
Because like I don't know how Israelis use
Let me
it.
give you the word you were saying. You don't want to use the word chafetz. Chafetz is substantive. Chafetz is real desire, da-da-da-da. You don't want to mislead people, etc. So you use the word rotzeh, or in your case, rotzah, and then add the word ma'od. Very much.
Oh, me'od.
Ma'od.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, you could
Like
also
me'od.
say Mataotse. It sounds good,
All
huh?
right, people, let me 1 second. In the case of Yirmiyahu, Refuah Shlema, have a full
Amen.
recovery. And thank you for coming today. We'll see you on Tuesday. Baruch, you're doing okay. Hillel, you're progressing. And Lavana, you're okay. Just get more readings. And give our best to Ellie. You're very